Our local people who are supposed to be looking out for us are looking out for us.
This is a hell of a lot bigger than Cliven Bundy.
Well, right here where we were protesting, we could see coming out of the mountains 14 federal vehicles. One of those vehicles was a dump truck hauling a backhoe, and it was being escorted by the 13 other vehicles with armed, I don't know if military personnel, BLM, but they had full weapons. There was 2 to each vehicle, and they had dogs as well. And we know that they've been running this cattle around with these helicopters, and understanding this country and how hot it is in the cattle, we are afraid that they're running these cattle to death. Also, they're separating these calves from their mothers, so we're afraid that the calves are dying as well. So we believe that it was a rendering truck, and we were going to find out.
How you doing, Greta?
I'm doing fine. So can we jump to the end? How is this going to end? Do you know?
Well, Greta, that's it's kind of a, I don't know, a hard question to ask. Hopefully, our governor will come out and he will demand that the BLM return Cliven Bundy's private property to him, and leave the state of Nevada and go back to where the federal government should be, and that's definitely not in the state of Nevada. It's saddening that any man in America who works so hard to provide for his family, but not only that, my dad, he tries to produce a food product in the form of red meat to the American people, and it's sad that a man that works so hard can't even, is now not allowed to go out on public lands and gather his own cattle. But, my dad, his whole life, he doesn't take vacations. He's not able to buy a new truck. He's barely able to provide for his family. And a lot of it is to do with, he spends all of his energy, time, and money on fighting the federal government, fighting for his rights and our rights, just to stay out here on the land. And so it's been tough. And he's a trooper, he's a fighter. But to answer your question, I hope that I can be as strong as him in this, because it's not over yet.
What do you think would settle it for your father? I mean, what do you think your father would think that this would be a good resolution of this?
Well, what would end this for him is if he needs the state governor to back him. Our local county sheriff, he's staying neutral on the matter, which I can't understand that, but maybe that's because he's not running for another term. But our governor needs to come out here and put his foot down and take back this state. And what I mean by that is, as a governor of a state, he is the authority here. He is the ultimate authority within a state. The federal government, according to the Constitution, they have limits on powers. They never were supposed to ever have anything to do with public lands. These public lands belong to the state of Nevada. Okay, therefore, that's why we elect governors, to take care of matters such as state matters. This isn't a federal issue. This is a state issue. And so I'm asking for the governor to come here today, okay, and resolve this. All he has to do is demand that the BLM leave the state and return Cliven Bundy's cattle, and this thing will be over today.
Mel, what about the court orders? I mean, you've got a federal court, who's not on your father's side. It takes the government's side. How do you reconcile that, or what do you do about that?
Well, Greta, that's the whole point here. Okay, for example, Greta, me and you get in a fight, and we decide to go to court, and we both show up, and you're the judge over the case. Who do you think's going to win? You're going to win, Greta. Okay, you're going to win. And I'll tell you what's happening here. The federal government has assumed authority over these public lands. They have sued him, okay, and demanded that he gets off the land. So if my dad goes to court, the judge and the jury are his opponent, are the people that took him to court. He can't win in courts, Greta. And then secondly, this isn't a federal issue, Greta. This is not a federal issue. These lands, these public lands, are state lands. If the state has a problem with being out here and the way he grazes, then it should go through a state court. We should have a state court order, not a federal court order. And that's how I'm going to answer that.
All right, Mel, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to continue to watch this because this doesn't look like it's going away soon. Thank you, Mel.
Hey, Greta, I love your show.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mel. A Nevada rancher is not backing down. His war with the federal government is far from over. Meet Cliven Bundy, cattle rancher and range warrior.
I guess it's a range war. That's all I can say.
Bundy is the last cattle rancher in southern Nevada. And now he is at the center of a political firestorm. An American cowboy taking on the federal government. Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy threatening to launch a range war after the government sent snipers and helicopters to seize his cattle. Meet the government agents saying that Bundy owes more than $1 million in unpaid grazing fees and taking drastic measures to get him to pay, using helicopters to round up cattle, sending in heavily armed agents, attack dogs, even using a stun gun on Ammon Bundy, Cliven's son. Meet Sheriff Doug Gillespie. Bundy's supporters calling on him to disarm the federal agents, saying the federal government has gone too far.
Sheriff Gillespie needs to go down and tell the Bureau of Land Management to leave.
But the sheriff refusing to take action, so hundreds of armed militiamen rallying to support the Bundys, facing off with the feds at gunpoint and the government backing down. But Bundy supporters worrying it is not over. Some still providing security for the Bundy family. Meet Buddha Cavalier.
Our goals are safety and security of innocent civilians trying to practice their constitutional rights.
The standoff getting attention from Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval, the governor blasting the Bureau of Land Management for creating a free speech zone, outside of which free speech is banned. And Senator Harry Reid also jumping into the fray.
Well, it's not over. We can't have an American people that violate the law and just walk away from it. So it's not over.
Which brings us back to Bundy, telling the senator to go back to Washington.
Harry, get back there and take care of that work and leave us alone here in Nevada. If you have no business here in Clark County, Nevada.
And it's not just Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. The Bundys also hearing from Senator Reid's son, Rory Reid. Now, he's a lawyer and former chairman of the Clark County Commission where the Bundy Ranch is located.
We believe in a country in which we're subject to laws, and we can't just ignore the laws that we don't like. And I think that clearly, if state and federal prosecutors look at this more closely, they're going to find that he broke the law and he should be prosecuted.
Carol, what do you make of Senator Harry Reid's son, Rory? He's basically suggesting that the prosecutors, state and local, take a good look and think about prosecuting you and your husband.
Well, we know the war's not over yet, Greta, but I can tell you and all your listeners that we have abided by all Nevada state law. We have not broken one law from the state of Nevada. And if we are a sovereign state in the state of Nevada, we don't need to worry because we haven't broken any state laws.
Why do you think that Rory Reid is even getting into this? What's his interest in this at all?
Well, I know there's a lot of rumors on the internet. I don't have the facts yet. Is that they have business interests on this land where they want to bring in solar plants, Chinese solar plants. None of that I know of. But I think this whole war is about control and unlimited power of the federal government and loss of liberty for we the people.
Senator Harry Reid says it's not over. Would you agree with him on that?
Well, I imagine they'll probably try to take us back to the court system. It's not over till we stand, and we're standing. We've got America with us, and we are standing for liberty. And I think the American people are standing with us. We're getting phone calls every day from people who say, we're ready to come at a minute's notice and stand with you for our country and for our liberty.
Okay. Who owns this land? Is it the feds, the state, and do you have rights to it? Explain this whole history.
We believe that the state owns this land constitutionally. In the Constitution, there's nowhere where the federal government can own this much land. They claim 89% of the land in the state of Nevada. And we believe that we're a sovereign state, and we'll gladly abide by any laws that the state of Nevada has.
Am I correct in understanding? I mean, the federal government says that you owe about $1.1 or $1 million in grazing fees, that you are willing to pay that to the state. Is that correct, and just not to the feds?
We will pay what the state asked us to pay. Our rights to be, we don't claim that we own the actual land, we claim that we own rights to use that land. Our water rights are filed with the state of Nevada. The state of Nevada, we will pay for the taxes for the rights that we own in the state of Nevada.
What does the state of Nevada say about this? I obviously get what the feds are saying this, but what is the state saying to you? What's, like, for instance, the sheriff, the governor, what are they saying?
Well, basically they're saying they've let us down as a citizen of their own state. They bowed down to the feds themselves.
Does that include the governor? Because, I mean, I know the governor didn't like the method that the feds were using. He said he didn't like that in the beginning. Is he not on your side on sort of the underlying problem?
The governor has the power to step in and just say, not in my state, boys, the party's over. The sheriff actually has the ultimate power in our county, and he could have said, not in my state. But instead, they allowed the BLM to come in and impersonate officers and point guns at our people and try to frighten us. And we, the people, should not be afraid of our government.
What do you think is the next step? I realize you still have supporters there. The feds have backed off. I mean, what, you know, as we're watching this, what should we be looking for? What do you think is going to happen next?
Hey, you know what? This is a wild ride. We're going to take it one day at a time, but I can tell you one thing, this old cowgirl doesn't plan to get bucked off.
All right, and on that, that's my out cue on that. Carol, thank you, and we'll be watching.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And the federal agents, well, they are now gone, so why are militia members still on the Bundy Ranch? Griff Jenkins went to the ranch to find out.
We're here just to give them a security blanket to help them rest easy at night so they can go about their day-to-day business here at the ranch.
Oh, I'm still here because I saw what was going on the news, and my friend James and I, we decided to come out and support the people that were out here and standing up to people that have seriously not read the Federalist Papers or the Constitution.
Are you itching for a fight?
No, not at all. And you know, I've been in a fight before, and Plato said it best. It's easy to get men to go to war. It's hard to get them to go back. The last thing I want to do is be in another firefight.
I'm a former United States Marine. I'm a former police officer. I'm a former high school history teacher. I don't make this country more dangerous. I make this country more safe because I teach the founding values.
Do you want to irritate the government? Do you want to irritate the government?
Do you want to irritate the government? Do you want to irritate the government?
No, we do not want that at all. We have people out here to help provide support to practice their Second Amendment rights and their constitutional privileges, which have been provided to them by a real government.
How long will you stay?
Until Mr. and Mrs. Bundy look at me in the eyes and tell me they're safe and secure and I can go home to my family and tend to my business that I got down there.